live on YouTube. Let everyone in on Zoom. Hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and hit record. And let's see. I'm just going to make sure I got my chat open. I'm not sure if I will see people on YouTube on this chat. So I have YouTube up on the other screen. If in case you're watching live on YouTube, you can also ask questions there. Welcome to our BBA, the Bookkeeping Business Accelerator information session. Thank you for joining today. Today I'm just going to basically be giving a back-end tour of what is inside the program for all of you people who are like me and I want to see exactly what I'm getting myself into. Um, so yeah, that's what today is all about. If you have business related questions of like actually running your business and client questions, I'm not going to dive into that today. This is purely questions around the accelerator and what's inside of that. So without further ado, let me turn off the waiting rooms. Hopefully, nope, it's not going to let me. Okay, so I'm just going to have to continue letting people in as people pop in. If you're joining later on, you will be able to catch the whole entire replay on YouTube. And if you were part of the Bookkeeping Biz workshops, the replay will also be loaded in there. So welcome, welcome everyone. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And if you already have questions about the accelerator, feel free to pop those questions in the chat wherever you're watching from. And I'm going to go ahead and get started. So, okay, so the program itself, you should be able to see my screen, hopefully. It is, let me get some things out of my way. All right, this is what it looks like when you first log into the program. You get access to it. If you're in the workshops, it's in the same software called Kajabi that we use. So when you log into your library, you would see the workshops, and then you would see this as a separate product. So this is what it looks like when you log in. We have a link to our Facebook group right here that you can click on from within the portal, and information on this side panel. We've got how to reach us for help if you need it. We've linked out to our podcast here. And then also there's a button right here where you can subscribe to all of the lessons on a private podcast. So that will get loaded. You can load that into your podcast player. And then as a student of BBA, you get $500 off of Elevate if you are ready to learn how to become an advisor, controller, or CFO level work. So that is available to you there inside of the course portal. So on the side panel, you can see all of the modules and lessons, and those are all lessons. And then bonuses. We have lots of bonus workshops, and then we have our template vault, the tech vault. I'll deep dive into these in a moment. So you can access everything from the left panel. When you enroll in the program, we do wait to unlock all the bonuses until after the refund period. And that is to protect our intellectual property so that people don't log in and just download all the templates and then ask for a refund. And but you are able to start going through the program immediately. So another way you can access and see everything is by clicking right here on course content. And of course, there's this resume button. So when you've started the course, when you click resume course, it'll pick up right where you left off. We have our welcome module. So I'm going to dive into that. Within the welcome module, there is an onboarding assessment that you must complete to unlock the next module. So this kind of forces everybody to at least watch the welcome module and get a lay of the land. It shows you how to navigate the program, although as you're watching this, I'm kind of showing you that already. So you can breeze through that. But this onboarding assessment is kind of just to get a snapshot of where you're at when you enroll in the program. And so that way we can best support you. Then once you go through the welcome module, we end up here in phase one, which is the design phase where we're setting goals, tackling the legal setup, and designing your services and your pricing packages. So as you can see, there's 9 lessons here. We have our design your business lesson, protecting your business. So this is like the business setup, engagement letters, business insurance, finding your perfect fit client. If you were in the workshops, we went through this in a more summarized fashion. We dive a lot deeper in this program. And then lesson 6 is setting up scalable and sustainable services. And then in lesson 7, we put together your packages. Lessons 8 and 9 are around pricing. And then we admit more people. All right. And then after the design phase, we move into the attract phase. And this is where we're talking about marketing and attracting the right clients. So there's an introduction lesson. There's 7 lessons here. I do try to keep them relatively short. Most of the lessons are under 15 minutes. All the lessons have most of the lessons have a slide presentation and some visuals. Some of them have downloadable workbooks and things like that. So I'll click into this one just as an example. So below each lesson, there might be some homework for you, some things linked out to different bonuses. We also have these comment sections. So if you are not into participating on Facebook and getting help that way, you always have the option to ask questions within the course portal. And then we have the download section here for anything that was mentioned in the video that is downloadable. So let me pop over to the chat. Admit. Let me find my chat button, maybe. Make sure that I'm not ignoring any questions. There we go. Okay, there's my chat. Cool t-shirt. Thanks. I did it slightly backwards. I already purchased Elevate. Will there be any discount on the BBA? Oh, okay. Email support, and we will get you hooked up. Yeah. I don't want to forget to yeah, so if you just email, then I won't forget to look into it. So yeah, so that's basically what most of the lessons look like. There's a summary of what the lesson is about. We have like homework sections, downloads in each lesson, and the other thing that I was going to mention too, which I already kind of did, is you can listen to everything too. And there's also a Kajabi app, so you can watch all of these on your phone as well. And every video also has closed caption. And you can search the video for things as well. I do feel strongly about having things very accessible. I love reading what I'm watching as well. So I know that can be helpful for people. And then, like I said, each lesson is pretty short. So 15 minutes or less. This one is under 10 minutes. Okay, and then that's the attract phase. We go through, I'll come back to this window so you could see better. We go through finding clients online, finding clients locally, social media marketing, email marketing, and creating a marketing plan, as well as setting up a simple website. How long can we access the monthly calls? I understand the weekly calls are available only for the 8 weeks after September 1st. Good question. So how that works is once you enroll in VIP and you get access to the cohort, you are then enrolled in VIP forever, and you get access to future cohorts and future monthly calls as well, depending on what schedule we run. So once you're a VIP, you're always a VIP. Just think about it that way. And the support calls are not on Facebook at all, actually. They're in Zoom, or this cohort, we might do what we did for the workshops and host them inside of Kajabi. So you don't have to have a special software to join the calls. So it'll either be on Zoom or inside of Kajabi. But I try to limit, I've been pulling back on what we're doing in Facebook just because I know it excludes a lot of people that just don't want to be on Facebook, and I kind of feel the same. So we do have the Facebook community for those who want to participate in it and get, support through there. But as far as calls and everything, all of that happens on Zoom or within the course portal. So that's the attract phase. And then the third phase is the optimize phase. This one is the most meaty of them all. This is where we go through optimizing your onboarding, setting up recurring workflows so that you can deliver your amazing service to your clients, and eventually be able to add team members if that's your plan. And even if not, you will be very, very efficient. So we have 22 lessons, I think, in the whole entire phase 3. And then there's like some subsections. So here's the introduction lesson about the whole module. And then we have an optimizing your sales process. So we're walking you through creating your sales process, talking about pre-discovery calls. So getting something like a pre-call questionnaire set up and pre-qualifying your clients and your leads, and then the discovery call process. And then the next stage is onboarding once you get people through the sales process. And so we talk about that, the onboarding experience. I go through how to do a diagnostic or introduction to a cleanup, essentially. The way that I do my diagnostics, they're pretty thorough. So it's most of the work that you need to do leading up to a cleanup. So as long as you know how to do a diagnostic and you understand that piece, it's up to you to kind of understand whatever software you're doing a cleanup in and learning how to do that. So I don't teach necessarily the process of doing the cleanup. It's more focused on the diagnostic. So if you're interested in a cleanup course, there are options out there that are really, really good. Veronica Wasek's is really good. And I think maybe Acadian has a cleanup course as well. So yeah, I recommend adding that on separately. So I go through each diagnostic section, the assets, liabilities, and then talking about the settings and P&L when you're doing a diagnostic. And then I also show you the process inside of Xero. So this diagnostic process I model inside of QuickBooks Online. And I also show you in this lesson how to do it in Xero and some different nuances there. And then we have a bonus lesson here of some real onboarding calls with clients, just the audios, so that it kind of gives you an idea, especially if you're brand new to running your business. You might have bookkeeping experience, but understanding what can come up in an onboarding call is really crucial. I know that was one area. The sales and the onboarding calls were like the parts that I was so mostly nervous about because I didn't really know what to expect. So I'm hoping by sharing stuff like this, you will be a little more confident going into those onboarding calls. And then in this other section of the optimize phase, we're talking about optimizing your work. And so I go through what to do and when to do it. Not really on a granular level. It's more, this one's not a video lesson and this one isn't either. It's kind of more like a checklist type situation that you can visualize all the things that you should be doing for clients, and then deliverables, what to give the client here as well. Give you some tips on delivering financial reports and whatnot there. And then optimizing your workflows. We have a bonus from the lovely Alyssa Lang, workflow queen, in here on creating workflows. This is system agnostic. So whether you're using Asana or spreadsheet or anything, this helps you understand how to build your own processes and workflows. And that's the foundation, the foundational knowledge that you need to be able to navigate any project management system, and understanding what a workflow is. So we've got that bonus in there, and all of her stuff that goes along with that. So this section is pretty meaty. And then we get to the bonus workshops. We have a lot of stuff in here. As the program has evolved over, I think I started this in 2020. So in the last 5 years, we've revamped it a couple times. And then sometimes during cohorts, I will bring in guest experts to run a workshop or a master class, and we save those in here for you guys. But there's some stuff that I've created as well. So how to get 20 extra hours in your week. I talked about this yesterday in the workshops. This is how I was able to study and pass the CPA exam when I was working full-time, like 40 hours plus full-time, and also was a single mom. And this is I feel strongly that if you are organized enough and you follow this process and you're dedicated enough, you can create the extra time to build your business with this methodology. And then how to get your first or next client on Upwork. Then we have the workflows in a weekend workshop, which is also in that optimize phase, lives in both places. How to raise your rates. This was a guest workshop I had years ago, but still really good, important information. A little what is advisory workshop in case you're kind of curious about that. Again, another advisory services Q&A. And then helping clients with estimated taxes and kind of understanding that piece, even if you're not going to help clients with it, is really good for your own knowledge. A lesson on meeting with clients. And we have a few other guest workshops here as well. Recently, we brought in Ashley from Systems Over Stress to talk about Airtable and let me admit some people and some workshops I've done in other areas. If you were in the workshops that we did over the last few days, you also have access to this particular workshop, crafting bookkeeping deliverables that matter. That was something that I presented in a summit last year. So you have access to that. And yeah, so let me go to the chat, make sure I'm answering all the questions y'all have. Workflows. I've seen in your emails that your workflows in Dubsado. Could those templates be improvised to a different task management software? Yes. So what I go through in the program here, I do screenshot kind of what things look like in Dubsado, but you can absolutely take that and build it out in a different task management software or proposal software as well. And packages, would there possibly be any suggested package examples? Yes, there are examples in the program. I give you what the basic, like if nothing else, there's a few things that you have to offer clients, whether you want to or not, as you call yourself a bookkeeper. There's bare minimum. And so we kind of build from there. And then I give you ideas of other things that you can add. And I give you examples that have worked for myself and other people in the program. So yes, all of that is in there in the pricing and packaging section. All right, so that pretty much is that bonus workshops module. And then we have the template vault. I'm going to open that up. In here, you can download the complete workbook. So that's every PDF download that's in every lesson. You can also just come straight here and get the whole workbook and have it printed at like FedEx or something if you like to write, printed and bound if you'd like to do that. That's available for you. And then we have engagement letter templates, disengagement letter templates, proposal and onboarding templates, workflow templates. There's some templates in here that you can just import directly into Asana and go from there and not have to recreate the wheel. We have a year-end checklist of things that we do at year-end for our clients, and then our 1099 process. And inside of here, I'm going to open it back up because this is a fun thing. This is our 1099 assistant that I built out. So as you're preparing your 1099s this 1099 season and you get stumped, you can come here, and I have trained it with the actual IRS guidelines and instructions for 1099s. And so when we get new guidelines and instructions, I will retrain it for the new stuff if anything changes. But right now it's trained on 2024 1099s. So yeah, it gives you some examples of things that you can ask. Basically, if you get stumped, basically just ask whatever you would come into the Facebook group and ask me. And this should be able to answer it. So yeah, super cool there. And then this is our 1099 process and in the download section or as a Google Doc. And then let's see, we have go back to, okay, so we're here, 1099 process and year end, and then we have a sample document retention policy and some information around that. I know that's a question that comes up a lot, especially as you're in business a little bit longer. You might not think about it now, but it's there when you're ready. And like I said before, the template and the tech vault are areas that I am constantly adding things to. If they don't fit in a lesson somewhere, or if it's something that someone asks, hey, do you have a resource for this in the Facebook group, or even emails or asks below a video, if I've already developed it and we use something in our firm, I will share what we're using. And if it makes sense to create it for the group, I'll do that as well and pop it in here. So these are bonuses and modules, I guess, if you would call it that, sections that are constantly being updated for what people need. And in the tech vault, similarly, this is where we drop in lessons on and tutorials on how we use specific software. So we use Spark for our email client, as opposed to using something like Outlook. Spark is the software that we use. So I shared our process on that in case anyone wants to see its capabilities and use, especially for a team, because we are able to comment below emails among the team. We're allowed to assign emails to each other. It's been really helpful for managing all of that without having to forward emails to each other. And then I go through HubDoc for how we use it with our clients, how we use Asana. This is like a light overview on Asana. If you really want to deep dive in how to use Asana, I recommend Alyssa Lang's program, Kick Off with Asana. But this shows you how we use the project or the templates that I'm sharing with you. They're different than her program. And then Dubsado for proposals, engagements, letters, and onboarding. This is the section where I show you what mine looks like. But if you want to deep dive on exactly how to set up your Dubsado, that's the Dubsado Decoded program that I collaborated with a Dubsado specialist on, who is actually way better at using and creating things in Dubsado than I was. So it made sense to collaborate on that one. And then we use 1Password for password management. These little icons, anything that you see a play symbol, that means there's a video or an audio of the lesson. And if there's just this little paper icon, that means it's just a text lesson, but there's still information in there that is helpful. So not everything has a video lesson when it comes to bonuses, but most of the lessons in the main core content are videos, and therefore audios on the private podcasts as well. And then we use Slack for team communication. That one's not a video because I wanted to keep things private because my Slack has all of my client information on it. And then Open Phone is a video as well. And that's how we use our business line for two-factor authentication and client communication. And this walks you through exactly how to set this up without having to do multiple users. So you're not paying for a bunch of seats on it. And then also talks about creating a centralized inbox. So that is part of the requirements for making that work for you and not having to do licenses for every person. And then we use Clockify for time tracking. Again, that's a text lesson as well. And then I have a section on Xero. So if you're interested in learning Xero, this is a good place to start to kind of just get familiar with some of the features that we use in there. I'm working on updating a lot of the Xero stuff because they've updated their platform quite a bit since I've filmed this. But if you're watching on YouTube, stay tuned because some of this is going to be put on YouTube as well, hopefully when I have time. And then we have a section on Google Workspace, how to create a Google form, how to set up your file structure. So this is applicable even if you're not using Google Workspace for whatever folder files format that you're using. If you're using Dropbox, if you're using OneDrive, this is going to be a lesson that you want to come check out for sure so that you understand how to keep your stuff organized. And then this Google Sheets Ask report or uncategorized transactions. This is how I show you how we get information from clients as far as about transactions that we don't know how to code. So yeah, lots of good stuff in here, things that you don't want to have to recreate yourself or figure out alone. And then each month I go live in Zoom, and I also broadcast it onto YouTube when when the live streaming thing works. Um, and so we keep these replays also in here for you as students to come search and have available to you. So we've got years and years available of live Q&As, as you can see. So we also have those loaded onto the private podcast. So I've heard a lot of our students will just binge these live Q&As as they're driving and things, because there's so much gold that comes up in those Q&As that don't necessarily fit in a lesson because it might be more specific to someone's situation. But you're going to learn a lot by listening to all of those. Mary asked, clarification on the templates. Could those templates also be improvised into a different task management software? Yes. So the Asana templates I give you a PDF of like the checklist, so you could take that and recreate it in whatever you want. I also give you a CSV file. So if you are using a task management system that allows you to import via CSV, you can use that. I'm pretty sure it translates pretty well into ClickUp. I haven't tried it with any other softwares, but yeah, there's you should be able to import those pretty easily as well. All right, so I'm gonna go back to, I think that's pretty much it for the core BBA content. So if you're watching this and you're like, okay, I'm sold, I just don't know if I want to be participating in calls. What I've showed you so far is the self-paced version of BBA. So this is the core content. This is what everybody gets. If you are wanting extra support and you want to be part of our tight-knit cohort, they're usually pretty small groups, and the calls are more opened up to where we can chat back and forth. That's the VIP version. And here is the portal for that. So let me expand it a little bit. So yeah, again, it'll be in your library when you log in as the VIP. You can add all the calls to your calendar. Here's the call schedule for this upcoming cohort. And when we're not in a cohort, aside from the end of 2025, because we're going to be taking a break. November and December, I'm not doing any calls, but in January, we'll start calls up again. And so that schedule will automatically be added to the calendar that you already have. And then we'll put the new schedule in a visual format right here as well. Links to join the hot seats, links to join co-working. Hot seats, let me back up. Hot seats are basically group coaching calls. They're an hour long, and you bring whatever questions you have, and we can go back and forth and break through whatever roadblock you have. And then co-working are 90 minutes, and this is myself or someone on my team running co-working. I always run hot seats myself, but the co-working calls most of the time are me. Sometimes someone on my team runs them. And this is where you bring the work that you're working on, whether it's setting up your Dubsado or setting up maybe you're setting up a new client, or maybe you're going through some of the BBA training and you just need to carve time out for it. You can join the co-working calls. We all stay muted. And I'm there in the chat for support if you need it. And then you can also access all the VIP call replays on a private podcast as well. So that is pretty much the VIP portal. The replays are all in here. The co-working, we don't record, but if there's valuable information that gets, passed back and forth in the chat, I will save the chat and load that in here too, especially if there's links or anything shared. And then we have some bonus workshops for our VIPs here as well. Let's see. Okay. Another thing that you get when you join BBA is these centering meditations that I created. This was a really fun off the cuff project one day. I got like a wild hair and was like, you know what? I want to record some meditations. So I did. And you guys get access to them. There's I think 5 of them, and they're all for specific things that you want to be able to center yourself for before. So before you go into a networking event, you can listen to it's 4 minutes. This one's 4 minutes. They're all under 5 minutes. There's one on client call confidence. So before you get on a call with a client to go over their financials or meet with them, you can listen to this one. There's one for sales call confidence. So before you go into a sales call, you can listen to this meditation to recenter yourself and get in the correct mindset. And then there's one to just call in abundance, and one to listen to when you have to have a difficult conversation or make a difficult decision. So I should listen to this more often, probably. I should listen to my own meditations. So those are available to you. And then, as I said before, we have the private podcast. So all of the lessons are loaded into a private podcast that this is in your portal, but you can also add it onto a podcast player. So you would just click here and copy this RSS feed and then paste it into whatever podcast player you use. Usually you have to like click a plus sign that says add podcast, and then it will give you a place to paste a link. And then same for the VIP calls, that's a separate podcast link as well. And then as soon as we have the recordings from those, we load them in here, and then they show up on your podcast player if you're already following the RSS feed. So without further ado, I think that's pretty much it. I'm here for questions for a little bit longer if anyone has any, or if you want me to go back to show you something that I breezed over really fast, we can do that as well. BBA versus VIP cohort. Yeah, a little confused as to where the VIP cohort program kicks in versus basic BBA. Yeah, of course. Okay, so all of the stuff I went through in the beginning this program, BBA, the Bookkeeping Business Accelerator, this whole shebang is for both. The only real difference between VIP and self-paced is access to this portal and the weekly calls. So our next cohort starts September 2nd, ends October 23rd, and that's weekly hot seats on Tuesdays, weekly co-working on Thursdays. The times alternate every other Thursday because I wanted to have an evening-ish co-working and a morning one for anyone who is maybe working a 9 to 5 and it's a little hard to come to co-working otherwise. And then we have our monthly live Q&As, and those are available. The monthly live Q&As are available to self-paced as well. So hopefully that clears it up for you. Both have access to the members only Facebook group, so you can still interact and ask questions and get support. As well as inside of the portal, you can ask a question below any lesson that you are stumped on. Yes, so the question was, is there a way to get questions to you when we can't be on any VIP calls? Yes, so like I said, if you're in self-paced, you can ask the question below the video or in the Facebook group. So there's support in both versions. If you want to be like coached back and forth and you can't make those VIP calls at all, self-paced is probably the best option until you're ready, until you can join the calls, and then you can join a future cohort. Otherwise, if you're just concerned about maybe not being able to attend one or two, but you still want to have access to all of that, you can pre-submit questions. We have a hot seat form, and that way you don't have to be on the call to submit your question and I'll answer it. But yes, the live Q&As that happen monthly are for both. I really wanted to make sure that there was still another format where people could get questions answered live. That one's just a little different because it's like there's usually more people on it, so there's not really time to like get to know each other as a group on the live Q&As. And we don't really unmute. I don't usually have people unmute and ask their question. It's just questions in the chat, if that makes sense. the pricing for both options, basic versus VIP. Um, the pricing for VIP is $24.97 and self-paced is $14.97. And both have payment options available when you go to the checkout page. Um, if you use Klarna or Afterpay, you can set up payment plans that way. Um, the other thing that I should probably mention is I think we still have some left. The first 5 people that join um, VIP get a website critique by me and my web designer. And we'll do those at the end of the cohort. So you have time to build your website if you don't have one yet. The other thing is if you join before Friday at midnight, today is Thursday as we're doing this. Friday, but by midnight, you get access to the Confident Compliance Bundle, and that gives you access to the sales tax workshop, the 1099 workshop, plus the 1099 assistant, which you will already get inside of BBA anyways. And then our year-end process and templates for giving tax packages to clients for their tax preparers. So we tie everything up in a nice little bow at year-end and give that to the tax preparers. And what else is in there that I'm drawing a blank on? Oh, our year-end financial presentation. So we usually do a slide deck for all of our clients to present their financials for the entire year. And that template is in there, and I walk through all of that as well. Let's see. What is the pricing? I covered that one. Replay. Could you please repeat where today's session can be replayed? Yes, this will be on YouTube. If you were in the workshops, it'll also be in your workshops portal after we end. We're still live though, so so yeah, you'll have access to that. Absolutely. Let me look at my list, make sure I'm not forgetting anything else. Um, yeah. What if I'm not enrolled in anything yet? What do you mean, Mary? Give me a little more context on your question for the replay. Oh, for the replay, you can access it on YouTube. So I'm guessing maybe you were probably on our email list. So you got an email about this today. We'll probably be sending out another email with the replay link on YouTube to watch it. That way you can watch the very beginning. Yeah, of course. All right. Well, if there are no other questions, I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing my screen. And yeah, feel free to, if you have further questions, feel free to email us, support@ambitiousbookkeeper.com. And yeah, be on the lookout in your email. You'll be getting a lot of reminders as doors are closing. Um, yeah, so very cool. All right, everyone, have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll talk.